When the going gets tough to tough, it's going strong. I like the wide open spaces.
I'm going to introduce you to Memoirs of Paul Batiste. So this is what I'm doing today. I'm letting people know about the release of this exquisite piece of artwork here. Gonna be that New Orleans music, Memoirs of Paul Batiste. Basically, this is a book about the Batiste Brothers, Batiste Cultural Arts Academy, and the Batiste family. And I'm writing about what we are doing here in New Orleans, in the New Orleans area, and where we're going. And I'm writing about some things that we did in the past. And the book is a tribute to my mother, and it's a tribute to my father. My mother, Estella Curtis Batiste, and my father, Jean Baptiste. If you're an aspiring teacher, a band director, or a classroom leader, or any sort of education person, you really want to know about this book. This book talks about education and several decades of my teaching in the education field. But it also talks about me as a band director. And as a band director, I've worked at several schools in the New Orleans area from 1976, 1978 that is, up until now. And we need to talk about some of the traditions and trends in education, some of the vanishing trends and traditions that are replaced by innovation, and some of the things that moving forward education might be a part of. Today is July the 13th, 2007, as it reads right here. My late nephew Lee always was interested in writing a book or a script. What he would title it as is a script. And we often told stories. Lee and I, we passed traditions, and he was a great nephew of mine. So I thought I might write a book, and then that was interrupted by Hurricane Katrina, which made me really know that I needed to write a book. And the book starts out talking about Dad and Mom, and Dad growing up in Lafayette. Right now I'm in Louisiana, and in this area of Louisiana, there is a great tradition of fishing, hunting, and I love the wildlife out here. I'm looking at some of these beautiful brown pelicans right now. This is one right here that happens to be flying right by us. And it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful creature. The book starts out talking about home. It talks about Mom and Dad. And Mom always had a saying. Some of the things that she would say, the early bird, she would say, early to bed, early to rise is the way to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. And another thing she said is the early bird catches the worm. Dad used to say a bird can fly high only for so long. It's a tale of Grandma Batiste on Cameron Street in New Orleans, and Low Farms, a small area in Jefferson Parish. I'm the last person to want to write a book. I don't know how I got into it other than it's Lee's idea, and Hurricane Katrina prompted me to write some things. But anyway, I'm introducing this book to you. Part 1 starts out in Low Farms with the Low Farm kids. It goes on into several chapters, 27 chapters in all. We talked about the Batiste Brothers Band before, in the 70s. And we talked about previous to the Batiste Brothers Band, we talked about the Gladiators.
Yeah.
days are gone. 'Cause when the guns get tough to talk, it's going strong. I like the wide open spaces and the roofs made with grace. People who breathe with a smile on their face. I like a walk by the river and the bayous and streams, fish in the lake, make a song of my dreams. Louisiana, my birthplace. Louisiana is my home. Louisiana, my birthplace. Louisiana is my home. I like the fun of the spirit and a good old parade on a bonfire night in a skyline of red. I like the down on the roof and the Asian cuisine, and to just take a ride on the riverboat queen. Louisiana, my birthplace. Louisiana is my home. Louisiana, my birthplace. Louisiana is my
And Earl Greeley, when he saw me get into a sinkhole, I went under. I wasn't accustomed to that. And Earl Greeley grabbed me, and
I can see it now. I got a clean
Yeah.
picture.
he kept me from going under. And then he pushed me up to the top where I could reach the edge, and I was no longer going under the water. That's in the Bunch Village chapter of Memoirs of Paul A. Batiste. The early stages of the Batiste Brothers Band was right here. We grew up right here along the river. And I'd like to just share these things with you. Some of the things that we had as we grew up. In the book, if you go to the section the band played on, that's where the Gladiators played. And that was before the Batiste Brothers Band. St. Augustine, St. Mary's, Xavier Prep, East Jefferson, Riverdale, all of these talent shows we took part in. And we played on these talent shows James Brown, and these people love to hear James Brown music. And on these talent shows, we had people like Aaron Broussard. Right now, I'm in the St. Rose area, but Kenner is right over there. And a lot of the people that we grew up with during the Gladiators days were from Kenner. And the Gladiators played Bunch Village homecoming dance. Prior to that, David and I played on the football team for Bunch Village. This is an exciting book that follows my career beyond that as I went off into the military. At age 19, I was drafted. The book goes into the section where we are the Batiste family and the Batiste brothers. My mom had 7 boys, and we grew up right out here in this neighborhood. We went to Washington Elementary School, right out here in Kenner. So I just wanted to visit my hometown and give you a glimpse of the book, Memoirs of Paul A. Batiste. Gonna be that New Orleans music. Look at this over here, Luke. The Great Mississippi River. You can pick up my book online and in stores.